Hello everyone. Being stuck at home is the best time to start coding, and what better way is there than through creating some games? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use some Greenfoot to create some sweet little games. This is the game we're going to be working with. We have our snake, we have our bouncing ball, and I can shoot it. And when you hit it, it's going to separate into two balls, and until eventually you get all of them. All right. I'm going to break this down into a few concepts. We're going to learn some Java. We're going to learn some basic programming tools. And let's jump right in. All right, so let's start by creating a new scenario. You can work with either Java or Stride. We're going to be working with Java. I'm just going to call this snake game. Press OK. And we have a new project that's been created. Let's just take a look at what we're seeing here. Over here, this is going to be our game. And on the right side, we have our objects. Now, I'll get a little bit more into what objects are and a little bit more detail into that in future videos. For now, let's just see the world. And that's essentially where our game is going to be played. If you've seen some of my previous videos on Scratch, this can be compared to the stage. So it's essentially the area where our game is going to be played. And then we have the actors, which are the characters and different stuff like weapons or trees or boxes or whatever we're going to see. And again, if you're following me on Scratch, this will be the sprite. Okay, so we can right-click here on the world, and we have a few different options. Let's just start by setting an image. And these are the images that Greenfoot has. We've got some backgrounds over here. Alternatively, we can go into the settings column and just import our own image. So I'm going to do. Just going to grab this green field over here. Click on open. And we can right click here, and we've got the save the world options. And that's just going to save all the changes we've made. And when we click on that, it's going to just open up our editor. I'm just going to minimize that for now. And we can see that our image has been updated. Now, you can see that this isn't quite the image I've chosen. You can also look, you can see that there's some green grass on the bottom over here. And this is because the resolution of our game is a little bit off from the resolution of our image. And we can open the editor, right-click on the world, and just open editor to fix that. And let's just take a look at what we're seeing here. This is some Java code. And if you don't quite understand everything, that's perfectly fine. We're going to go over it in far more detail in the future videos. But what you can see here is actually the beauty and simpleness of Greenfoot, that it has created our world and imported in our picture, and all the code that was needed for it was done automatically by Greenfoot, and we can just change a few values to get this code to do exactly what we want. And we can look over here at this super line. This is actually creating our image in the background. And if you also look at the comment, and you can notice this is a comment because it's written in gray, so this doesn't have any effect on the code. And creates a new world with 600 and 400 cells. Each cell is 1 by 1 pixels, and those are the numbers over here. So let's just change that to 1000 and let's say 600. Then we are going to compile. Now compiling, whenever we touch, change, or write new code, we are always going to compile, and this lets the computer run over the code and make sure that it understands everything that there is. And it says over here at the bottom that there are no errors. And if there are errors, let's just write some random nonsense over here. When we click compile, you can see that it selected this, and the computer is telling us that it doesn't understand this line of code, and therefore it did not compile it properly. And again, there's no syntax errors. And now we can see that our image has been updated to the proper resolution. Okay, so we're going to add our first actor now. We're going to create our snake that was moving and shooting at the ball. We're going to go into this actor block, right-click it, and create a new subclass. And we'll go again into more detail on what subclasses are a bit later. And we get the same screen as we've seen before. where we can choose our image for the thing that we're working with. And go into the animals and grab the snake. You can choose whatever picture you want. You can also upload your own as before. And whenever we're creating something new in programming in general, we give it a name, so that when I'm going to call the snake, so that when I'm talking about the snake, the computer knows what I'm talking about, and also this will keep things far more organized. Click OK, and we see that a new snake, this with the picture over here, has been created. We can also right-click on that, and we have a bunch of different options. The first option is the way of creating a new one in our world. So I can just click on that, and now we have the snake in my hand, and I can drop it anywhere I want in the world. And then it's going to stay just over there. So if I right-click, I can save the world, so that this will be saved. And now we have our snake in the game. All right, now let's just take a look at how adding this snake has affected our code. So let's open up the My World, right-click on it, open the editor, and you can see that some new code has been added over here. And this is because we've added a new picture into a new object into our game, and the code that's running over here is what's adding it into the game. So let's just understand a little bit what's written over here. And the first thing to understand is what a method is. And a method is used in almost all programming languages. And it's essentially taking a chunk of code from somewhere else and putting it into a different location. So like we can see over here, we are calling the prepare method. And over here, the prepare method is written out in full. So instead of writing this code over here, it is written just somewhere else. And then I can call it and use it just by typing out the name of the method. And I know that this is a method because of the brackets that are written down here. And this is very useful also to keep things organized, but also because most programming languages have a bunch of methods that are already written out for us. And instead of rewriting the whole code from scratch, we can just call those methods, and this makes things a lot simpler. We don't need to write something that's already been written out. So just to go over that again, the code is it has reached this prepare statement where it's calling the prepare method, and the prepare method is written out in full over here. And we can also see that the prepare method is calling another method right here. We can again see that through the brackets, and this method is called add object. And what this method does is it's going to create the snake in our game. Now the prepare method had a blank area in the bracket, and this method has some values in it. And these are the arguments that we need to give into the method. Now, some methods have nothing that needs to be put into it, and some methods have some sort of input that needs to be put into it before it is called, and that's what's called the argument of the method. So this is going to be the x and the y of where we want our object to be added into the game. And this is the object that we want to add. So we are calling the add object method over here. We are telling it what object we want to add, giving it a specific x and a specific y value. And without these arguments, the method cannot run, and we will get a compiling error. And to understand the difference between the prepare method, which doesn't have any arguments given to it, we just leave the brackets as a blank. So let's just see what happens if I change this y value to 300, compile. We can see that when the world is being prepared, the add object method is being called, but this time the y is 300 instead of 500, and it's moving it a little bit up. I don't actually want that there, so just open the editor and change that back to what it was. Okay, so in this video, we learned a little bit about what a method is. We got to familiarize ourselves with the Greenfoot environment. We saw the difference between the world and the actors, and also we looked a little bit at the code, and we saw a bit how Greenfoot uses Java to run it. In the next videos, we'll go into more detail and we'll finish our game. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comments below.
And also make sure to check out our Facebook page called Kids Code. We offer some great courses for kids to help learn some programming through creating games. We use Scratch, Greenfoot, and Unity. So check that out, and thanks for watching.